I'll start it off. Hey, welcome to the Mutually Assured Destruction podcast. My name is Sharif.
I'm Josh, and with us today is our special guest, our nerd friend Serena.
Wow. Okay. Right off the bat, I'm not a nerd. I'm very cool, actually.
No, you're friends with us.
I don't know.
You're
Yeah.
Okay,
If you know us, it already brings down. If you had stat sheet, it brings down one of everything.
You know what? Not for long. Okay. Not for long.
You've been saying that for years. You can't do it.
I mean, once you know us, you're stuck. There's no escape.
Yeah, it's over. I mean, we know Serena from school, like most people that we know. We've known each other for 4 years now.
No.
4 or 5.
No,
What?
3.
5 years ago, I was in high school.
Yeah, 3 years.
Oh, gross.
Well, the thing is, so you
Sorry,
knew
man.
her a year before I did because
Yeah.
of circumstances I will not repeat.
Okay, wait. So Josh was out of the picture for the first year that we were friends, and when he tried to start coming back into the picture, I tried so hard to stop it and look at what
Why?
I've done. Because there's this mess now. You guys are friends again. It's just
We
a
were
horrible
never not
thing that
friends
has
in that
happened.
period where I disappeared from the friend group.
Yeah, we never stopped being. We were friends in a different area.
Right,
we were
it
friends
wasn't
separate from-
around me though, and
We
that
were
was
friends in secret because certain people did not like us together.
To be fair,
and it was
They
me.
had a
I don't
point.
like you guys together.
the person trying to keep us apart had a very valid point, and I think we've just disregarded that all these years.
Whenever I think back to that situation, I just love the excuse you go see more movies with him than you do me. I'm you don't like to see movies. For reference to anyone listening, this is my ex-girlfriend we're talking about.
Yeah, we invited her to a movie. You're like, okay, Avengers is coming. It was the first Avengers.
Yeah, it was
movie,
Infinity
right?
Wars. It was
Yeah,
Infinity War.
and you're like, okay, let's go see Avengers next week. And she's like, okay, I'm down. I bought 3 tickets. She ditched on us.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we had to give it to a friend. And it's like, all right, well, this is why we don't invite you to fucking movies, because you don't show up. People suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, people
Like us,
suck.
we suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I love that all your gym friends listen to this now.
Not all
This
of
is
them.
great
Some of them.
because
Some of them.
no matter what facade you put up, I'm gonna ruin it. This is just.
I mean, this is the name of the podcast, Sharif.
That's true. That's the whole purpose of it. I feel like we haven't had anyone truly destructive on yet. We've had Jason on, and that made things bad, but it never really damaged the way we live our lives.
I
feel like
we're
we have to
building
have-
up to we're building up to it. Because
Episode 100.
every week we just test the waters a little more and more. We start out, dipping our toe in, then our foot. We're about ankle deep right now.
How about episode 100? We have Dave on. Let's just ruin. For those who don't know, Dave, Josh's dad, my ex-boss, the reference that pretty much got me the job I have now. We can just that kid. That's the ultimate assured destruction. I mean, he'll never look at you the same, and he'll regret everything he's done.
If we get to 100 episodes, I'm fine with that because I will be in a different state.
I would say don't commit to anything that you can't, because we're gonna get there and you're like, guys, I don't know about this. It slipped a little bit when we went camping, and Dave's like, all right, I regret knowing both of you. And we're like, yeah.
Not like he
that
really had a
makes sense.
chance with knowing me.
Does he know about
no.
your podcast?
No.
Kind of.
Does he?
I mean, because he saw the mic setup. He's like, "Oh, what are you recording a podcast with Sharif?" I'm like, maybe.
No, I ruined. I gave it away. He knows your mic is too professional now.
Yeah, this is your fault. How dare you? It's all your fault.
That's crazy. Do you think he's scouring the web right now trying to find it?
He's not gonna find it.
What do you think the chances are Dave's listening right now? What do you think the chances are there's a dark future that you died and Dave is just listening back to these because it's the last he has of you? And this is he's like, this man wasn't what I thought he was the whole time.
I'm just thinking back to in those movies where the main character
voicemail or
looks
whatever.
back and watches an old video of his wife or the voicemail or something
It's
who
just
passed
this.
away years ago.
Yeah.
It's this.
It's us talking about.
This is the voicemail.
It's us talking about not wanting Dave to hear this.
Did you guys?
What's up?
So did you guys have any other names that you wanted to give the podcast? Or were you sure that this is
Don't
I
do
have
it, Josh.
one.
Don't say it. There's one. We had one. You know what? I'm gonna say it once so you know what it is. We're not leaving that in. That was
It's getting beeped out. I already know that.
Wait, what
That
did you
was
say? I didn't hear. Okay.
that was the original name, and I was like, I don't think anyone can like. I don't think anyone would want to be caught listening to a podcast of that name. Like a coworker looks over their shoulders and sees what they're listening to. Like I don't think that's a good name. Like it was funny, but I don't think it would have made for very good.
It would be fine if it was just like our immediate friend group that was listening to it. But
yeah.
The minute we put it on the internet for the public to view it, it's very different.
That name is not marketable.
Yeah.
It is just to not the right group.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. I was gonna say you could have named it shitcasting, which I feel like is pretty accurate.
That's pretty good.
Can we change the name? Is it too late?
No, because I'm taking that now. I'm gonna
Dang.
start a podcast. It's gonna be 40-minute episodes every week. I'm just gonna go out to people's windows and Chromecast pictures of shit onto their TVs and see what they do. And then you listen to my reaction of it.
You don't even get. I think if you're a real one, you would mic up their house. So
you have to get like one of those like those things that like the CIA has where they can like listen in from you from afar, like across the street. Like, like the reverse megaphone, whatever it's called.
I'll just get a spy pen from like the book fair that you said, those spy pens where you can listen to your friends. That's what I'll do.
Oh, you just hear from the other end. It's like, honey, what's that? Is that Serena? What's she doing?
Why would they be people that I know?
You know the ultimate way to listen in when they're not looking? Put a can attached to a piece of string in their living room.
Fuck, that's so smart.
You fucking suck. That's the worst idea ever.
It's like they follow it, and it's just you in their closet with the can to your ear. Be like, you didn't see me. Just slowly close the door back on yourself.
No, but the way we had this joke name. Well, I'm gonna say it's a joke name because I don't think we ever would have seriously went with it.
I would have.
And then
I would.
You probably would have. I'm a little chicken when it comes to stuff like that. I'm like, no, we can't. Like I was thinking a little bit in the marketability of this. And I was like, we can't market that name.
Sure. It's a podcast with us. It wasn't going to be marketable to begin with.
But this other than that option, this was the first name option. So I just messaged Josh. I'm like, what about this? It explains our dynamic, and he's like, okay, and that's it.
You know what was another name we came up with though?
What?
Sidewalk privileges.
I forgot about sidewalk privileges.
That would have been cool.
Do you want to explain the context because it just sounds dumb.
The context of it is we were walking from the student center to the science building, and we were and I stepped off the sidewalk, and Jeff's like, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm too weird. I lost the privilege to walk with society. We'll make a podcast in which we slowly try to figure out what society is, and eventually we'll regain our sidewalk privileges.
I think you should rename your podcast.
Huh?
I think you should rename your podcast.
I think we're too committed, and
we're in too deep.
The fact
we're already on. Was this episode 7, the 8th episode?
So episode 7, the 8th episode. We started episode 0.
I don't know what episode this is.
This is episode 6, the 5th episode.
Or this is episode 6 and the 7th episode.
No, this episode 6, the 7th episode. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. So, but it's we're too far in, and I like the acronym MAD. So
it worked out really nice.
Worked out, and
because we're always angry.
Because we're always ready to fold someone.
Stop. But speaking of being angry, so you know the Hulk, like Lou Ferrigno, the original actor that played the Hulk, right?
Yeah.
I remember I met him once at a Comic-Con.
What?
Yeah, because I wanted to go see William Shatner, but the line to go meet him was insanely long. I'm like, because growing up I watched Lou Ferrigno's like Hulk movies and the TV shows and whatnot.
How old are you? Those are like from the 70s.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I know. I liked them as a kid. I watched them. They were enjoyable. But I saw Lou Ferrigno was there. I'm like, oh shit, let me go meet him. And I walk up to his like little booth. I'm like, oh, there's no line. No one wanted to come see him.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then I walk up to him, and I saw it was like $20 for an autographed picture of Lou Ferrigno as
That
the Hulk.
explains it.
I mean, that was cheap compared to all the other ones.
That's such a
I mean, like he
thing,
he shook your hand, like he talked to you for a minute.
Yeah,
or he's supposed to. But I walk up there and he's like, "Just it's $20."
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god, that's I don't
like it's
like
the first
that
thing he
image.
says. He signs it, hands me the pictures, like thanks.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're not cool. Okay.
That sucks.
Dang.
I don't think celebrities should like have to. I don't think paying for a signature is a very cool thing to do. I
No.
think like having this
Yeah.
person's admiration and their like willingness to dedicate like their time to watching your craft, that should be enough.
Yeah,
Like, the
especially
signature
when
should be-
me at the time when I watched his stuff, I was like 6 or 7 years old, and this was probably like 30 years old at that time, and I appreciated it.
Yeah, that's.
But then
yeah,
again,
I mean,
as a kid, I appreciated Ghost Rider.
oh,
How old are you?
disgusting. Oh, actually knocked my mic down a little bit. That's got to be so depressing though, because like if you look at it from his perspective, what kind of conversation is he gonna have with an 8-year-old? Like, I'm sure he could have
So
said something.
I was 8
cool.
when I watched it, but when I met him, I was 18.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Then what a shitty
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Can Lou Ferrigno be this podcast nemesis?
Can we? Shoot, episode 100, the 101st episode. Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno. I'm sure we can get him for $20. Seems
Yep.
like he's not doing much
Probably.
nowadays.
I don't know. You know, they still had him like voice acting the Hulk in the Marvel movies.
Was he really? Was that him?
I don't know if like the more recent ones, but I know in like the Incredible Hulk movie and the first and second Avengers, I think he was still voicing the Hulk. You know, because he didn't really talk; he just kind
Yeah.
of roared.
Yeah, that's dark though. I don't like when celebrities like fall out of grace. Like I've never met a celebrity in real life, but it still must be bummy to have all this like fame and attention, to have people know your name, and then just be a nobody and like have everyone know that you're a nobody.
Yeah, but
But I
you know
think a
who's
lot
never
of
gonna be like that?
celebrities like that.
Wait,
Huh?
what?
I feel like a lot of celebrities like that. Like they had their fame. Like I would like that.
Yeah.
If I had my moment of fame and then I get to like rest for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
and
I
have
think
a lot
I'd
of
rather
money.
have that than constantly always being watched for the rest of your life. That's got to be stressful.
Yeah.
I think I'm
Like-
okay with that.
No, I mean maybe
'Cause
like 10 years or something of like being in the spotlight, doing your thing, being in movies, TV shows and whatnot, and then being done. Like you're out of it, you made your money, you can live comfortably for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be worried about people constantly when you're walking down the street being like, "Oh my god, it's you. Can I get a picture with you? Blah, can I get your
I
autograph?" Blah, blah,
like
blah."
Tony Hawk.
Like that would
Like
be
Tony Hawk.
fun at first, the first 10 years while you're doing it.
Yeah.
But after a while that's got to get so old and
You just
so
want to live your
annoying.
life. I think
It
you would
wouldn't
change
for
your
me.
mind. I think you would change your
No,
mind if you're
because-
that famous.
I love conversation with strangers. That's part of the reason I love this podcast. Is I eventually want, like when we interviewed Eli the other day, I love that because I didn't know him, and I was like, now we know each other. Like if I was famous, I wouldn't.
Yeah, but
be
sure,
able to,
imagine
like,
you're
do
trying
anything.
to go to the grocery store. You've had a busy day. You're not in the mood, and there's not 1,000. Like,
I'd let it
there's
consume me.
like 10 people who just walk up to you every 10 seconds. It's like, oh my god, blah 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 blah. You just want to get your loaf of bread
No.
and leave.
That's
Dude,
like the
I would
thing
set
that
up-
you wouldn't ever get a chance to talk, like have conversations with people. You would only get like, hi.
They
I
they
want your
only want to
autograph.
take a
That's all I
picture
would
with you
do.
and say they met you. They don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. But
Why
like
wouldn't they?
once you've hit your fame, people would like have conversation. You like be comfortable going up to people and having conversations at a bar, and then they leave and then realize you are a famous celebrity, and that's a story they get to tell for the rest of their life.
I don't know. I just like
Because
the
if you're famous, I feel like that takes away from the conversation.
no, but it makes it
Ideas.
so you. I don't care about their perspective from it. I want to hear what they. I want to hear what they have to say. Like I don't care about them having to know what I have to say. I just want to know who the. I don't. It's like this thing of when I was a little kid, I would pass by people on the street. Like if I remember one of my earlier memories was walking down the street in Chicago and having people just pass me by like hundreds on the sidewalk. And I'm thinking, I want to talk to all of them. Like I want to know that dude who just walked by me. I want to know what his story is. And like I still know that nowadays. I still want to like every person I meet and what I think about, I get really sad thinking about the fact that I'll never meet everyone. Like I want to meet
I so get
everyone.
that.
This really just proves you're such an extrovert.
It kind of, which is weird because
You know what this make me think of though? Do you know Billy? I don't know how to say his last name. Eichner.
Eichner?
Eichner. Yeah, you know him, right?
Yeah.
So have you seen his like I don't know if it's like a full TV show. I've just seen clips online where he's like interviewing
same.
random people on the street in like New York or something. And there's some like he goes up to someone, he's like, "What do you think of like this person's acting career? These movies?" And one of them was what's his name? Oh, I can't remember. Who did I say your laugh sounds like?
I have no clue.
Oh my god, why
Who
can't
did you say, man?
Why can't I remember? He was
Dude, my memory sucks. The other day I was looking through the comments of our videos and Sarah was like, "I didn't like the part about the boat." And I'm like, "When did we talk about a boat?" I was like, "When was there a boat?" Like
Hey.
It was a conversation recorded like 3 days before she commented. And I'm like, "I don't recall anything about a boat whatsoever."
Sure. Seth Rogen. This is the clip I remember when Billy Eichner was like
him.
Your laugh sounds like him.
Nah.
Yeah, it does. But Billy Eichner walked up to this random person. He's like, "What do you think of Seth Rogen's movies and him as an actor and his whole acting career?" And the person's like, I think it's pretty bad. I don't like him. He's not that good." And then the camera guy puts the camera down. He's like, "You really think that?" And it's Seth Rogen.
I love that. Why would it see if you're famous? Why wouldn't you abuse that power to just randomly pop up anywhere? That's hilarious. That's the perfect part. I just think it's crazy that Billy Eichner interviewed I saw the clip. He interviewed the old Vine guy, the guy who was like, "What do you think of Uber drivers?" And he's like, "I've never been to Uber" or something like that. Like he interviewed that dude, and the dude was just like, neither of them recognized each other, and it was the craziest coincidence that this internet celebrity and this real celebrity met each other and just went on their total passing way. And that's what I mean when I say I want to meet everyone.
But you could literally do that right now. You don't have to be famous to go to random people and talk to them.
I
do that.
Yeah. So what's stopping you from just doing it now? You don't need to be famous for it to be interesting. No, I mean, if you're not famous, it'll probably be a little more creepy.
Don't get me wrong. I still do that, but I would love to do it so much more as a famous person, because when I said that I don't care what the person thinks about me, it's because I want them to already know everything about me, which would be cool if I was a celebrity. And that'd be like, "Nah, I want to know about you."
What if they hate you though?
That's fine. I want to know them more now.
What if
you hate me? I want to know
famous?
why you hate me.
What if you become famous and you talk to random people on the street and every single person is like, "I don't like you. You said you wanted to murder babies."
That's cool. Let's talk about it.
Well,
why don't you like my baby murder plan? What you got? What you got against murdering babies? I'm just saying it's flawless. It's a perfect plan.
I'm curious. What do you think you'd be famous for, if anything?
Oh God, I don't know. I think it'd be one dumb thing. Like I would do something so horribly stupid, and someone would catch it on camera that I would be like known for that one dumb thing. I don't think I could maintain long time fame, because I feel like once people get to know me, they're like, "Oh yeah, there's nothing there," and then they just like move on. But like I think I have small little moments where I do extraordinarily stupid things, and all it needs is someone to like be there when it happens. And
I'm there when all of it happens. I just don't record it.
You're there when all of it happens. You record some of it, but none of it. Like, I don't know. I don't think I would ever be famous for anything like acting or singing or anything.
I think
I
it
would be. I don't think any of us would be.
I think
it'd be interesting
Sharif,
if I was in.
Let's Serena talk.
I think that Sharif, I feel like the internet, you're like the type of person who would do something, like have some kind of weird hobby, and then like you get old and then the internet becomes obsessed with you. Like, you know those people who like there's like an old man who grows giant vegetables and the internet is immediately like, I love this person. That's you, Sharif.
I was thinking of like the old dude, was he in India, where he makes the giant meals for like hundreds of people?
Yeah, Grandpa, he died.
He passed away like last year, right?
Yeah. Did I share you the video? I might have shared the video with you. No, I think you discovered it on your own. But yeah, dude, he was like 2 years ago. He died in 2019. Yeah, and it was so sad. They recorded his funeral and they like put it on YouTube, It was really weird. So he was a guy straight up from India, and they had like a weird tradition.
Straight up.
It was kind of cool at first, where they like covered his body entirely in flowers, but then they started like stuffing food in his mouth, and he's like dead. And then they put him on a pyre and lit him, and like they had like a Viking funeral, and it's like. And video ended like, "We'll miss you, Grandpa." And I'm like, "Why'd you burn him?"
Well, that's like a Hindu, right? I believe.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Wait,
This guy was like,
even the food.
I don't know about the food. I don't know like their complete like ceremony and their traditions.
Because I'm like the burning seems like a pretty normal thing. Because like cremation is a normal thing a lot of people do.
but on
Yeah.
a pyre.
Yeah, on a pyre. I know.
Okay,
I
maybe
know
not
this
in
only
America,
because
that's
I
definitely not a
watch.
normal thing.
I watch a lot of Bollywood movies, and every time someone dies, they have this huge dramatic scene where the sun goes and lights the pyre, and
Okay,
it's just like.
but Bollywood
sad.
movies are always dramatic.
Yeah, I know, but they have that scene in every movie. That's why I know about it.
I'm just
Bollywood movies, whenever I
they're
see the
so
clip,
over the
it's
top.
almost like
They're so over the top.
it's almost like an IRL anime.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, exactly. Oh my! There was one clip. I don't know if I showed it to you, but I always rewatch it. Where this girl, she like falls off of the
Yeah.
second floor staircase, and this guy, it's like 10 minutes of him running 10 feet to go catch her, and it's just constantly cutting back and
those
forth
are
to the girl falling, the guy running to catch her, and then the parents like gasping and looking
I know what you're
up.
about to say, Serena. That's a
aren't
drama.
Movies. No, those aren't
Yeah.
movies. Those are shows. The
Yeah,
clips
those are
that you always
dramas.
see are shows, but I'm talking about Bollywood movies. Bollywood
Oh, no, I've
movies
seen-
are actually really good.
I saw a clip from one. I don't remember what it was called, but they had these giant catapults where they were launching soldiers who formed
yeah.
up into a cannon.
They made a big old ball,
Yeah,
and then they
don't know
dropped
that.
on him. It was great, dude.
And then in that same movie clip, I think they took a giant blanket, lit it on fire, and launched it over the enemy.
Yeah, you can't hate on them though, because we make Fast and Furious.
That's
So there's
true.
like-
yeah.
True.
It's all ridiculous. I bet you whatever movie you saw was probably their version of Fast and Furious.
Do you think they make fun of like Hollywood movies?
That some of them for sure. Like we have some real shitty movies.
Like
I'm
Godzilla
sure
versus King Kong. Can we just talk about this
Yeah.
for a second?
like there's
Like I went into that movie. I saw it already like a few
Yeah.
days ago.
Okay.
I went in. I'm like, I expect nothing from this except dumb action between a giant monkey and a giant lizard. That's exactly what I got, and I was happy.
I could not
and
watch something.
One of my friends today, he was explaining it, like this is how his coworker explained it to him. The whole premise of the movie is like you give a kid a toy action figure of a gorilla and a lizard, and he just keeps mashing them together. That's the movie.
Nice. I couldn't sit through something like that. That's just too much for me.
It was
I like
weird.
plot.
Yeah,
There
me
was a
too.
plot. They were pushing a plot, but it was just so stupid.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but I honestly, I either like very complex and over the top plots that make you think, or dumb action with no plot. I don't like anything in the middle.
I think I just like the first one. I like over complex plots that make you think.
Yeah.
Which
What do
is
you mean
why
the first one?
Over
you
complex
said
plots.
you like two things. You like
Oh, I thought you meant like I
plot.
thought you meant the first like Godzilla movie. I'm like there was
No.
like no plot in that.
No.
That's literally big monsters fighting.
No, I like plot, which is why all my favorite movies are like these long, drawn out plots over one character.
Hateful
like
Eight.
Hateful Eight, Forrest Gump,
Forrest Gump.
Shawshank Redemption. And it's just
Oh.
because it's this long story that sometimes takes you like over years
Dude,
or
the
explains
Green
whole
Mile. The
The
Green,
Green
Mile.
Mile. All these movies phenomenal because they have like such a nice little bundled up story. Like you get to learn about the life of this one person in this nice like 2-hour package. And it's
Oh, the
great.
Green Mile is like 4 hours. Let's be real.
I forgot.
It's
how
a
long that
long
movie is.
movie.
I
Serena, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, right now, Thor Ragnarok.
That's a good one.
That's a good.
That's
one.
a good one.
I
It's-
think Marvel and like comic book movies are the exception because it's not all action, but it doesn't have a good plot necessarily.
Yeah. I wouldn't want, like, I feel like Thor Ragnarok really was so different than all the other movies, though.
See, that's one thing I like. Why I'm so invested in comic book movies is because now they're expanding them over like how many dozens of films.
Yeah.
Where there's so much character development and build up. Where I'm like, I'm invested in this. I'm gonna keep watching. And then you get shit like Joss Whedon.
Comic book movies are a really interesting phenomenon because they did something that none of the previous eras of movies could have done. Like there's always this hierarchy that movies follow, like with the cowboy movie era and the gangster movie era and like the cop movie era. Like all of these had a plot, as it's like there's always protagonist movies about like good cops, good cowboys, and then there's like the good bad guy movies where you're following a bad guy but he has like good intentions, and it's always like the rogue
You mean
cop
Fast and Furious?
It's stuff like that, Fast and Furious. But that's the thing, like there's always a timeline they follow, and then the movies get goofy. They start to parody themselves, which is
like Fast and Furious,
right? Which is what Marvel did as well. But then after the parody movies, that's usually the end of it. The genres run dry and they can't do anything without it. Marvel has somehow gotten back to having serious movies, and we're all just like, okay, yeah, let's keep this comic book thing going. Yeah. Which is crazy because no era in movies have done that before.
Yeah, because like the last, I'd say like really like, silly movie that came out from the MCU was Thor Ragnarok, and then everything after that was super serious.
Yeah.
No, Guardians 2 was after.
No, it wasn't.
Was it not?
I don't think so. I think the last one before Infinity War was Ragnarok.
But I think Spider-Man came out. There was another Spider-Man.
Spider-Man wasn't too serious. She's got a point.
No, that one was funny and lighthearted, but it was definitely more serious than Thor Ragnarok.
It was more, but it would definitely classify as a comedy.
But yeah, I thought it was really cool.
But that's the one thing. So most of Marvel's movies fall under the genre of like action comedy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really excited, because now that they're in phase 4, I think they're finally branching out into other things. Like you've already seen, like with WandaVision, it's more of like a romance story.
Yeah, I loved it.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier is more about like, political commentary. And the new Doctor Strange movie is going to be a horror movie.
You know what?
Yes.
Wow. That's so cool.
I was watching a podcast the other day that was filmed like 8 years ago. Or not 8 years ago. It was filmed around the time that that Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was premiering. And everyone on there was talking about how horrible that movie is going to be and how it's going to be a big flop.
Yep.
And one was talking about like how there's a talking raccoon and they're like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And then one other person would butt in and it's like, what can't Marvel do at this point that we won't watch? And then one of them was like, can they do a rom-com? And they're like, sure, they can do a rom-com. And I was like, they did a fucking like a sitcom, like a rom-com, and it fucking worked.
Yeah, it worked.
And like, so the thing is like, because Marvel before, like Iron Man and a lot of these characters, like Black Widow and stuff, they were never popular characters. Hawkeye, never popular, like never big. Like it was Captain America and the Hulk were the only ones I remember from my childhood.
Spider-Man.
And then the MCU, they're like Iron Man. Like they took this character that was specifically created to be an asshole. That was supposed to be unlikable in the comics. That was his whole premise for being created. Was Stan Lee was like, I'm gonna make a character that everyone's gonna love, but everyone's gonna hate him.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they just started everything.
Yeah. Do you think Disney butting into the MCU movies was a good thing?
No.
Nothing
I think
with Disney
they're taking away too much creative control, but I'm surprised because Disney, they have this thing where like, we never want to show, beheadings in our movies. And then they went back on that rule in Endgame when they killed Thanos. They slashed his head off in the first scene.
Yeah, well, they're not really good of morality. They used to have minstrel show cartoons, so we're not even gonna talk about the morality of Disney.
Dinsey
Washington.
Who's your favorite actor? Dinsey Washington. Dinsey Washington.
Disney Washington. We're not even going to talk about the morality of them as a company. We're just going to talk about the fact like they give good budget, but at the same time, Disney likes this thing where they like to make their movies kind of heart-wrenching, but they never keep characters dead.
Yeah,
and they definitely continue.
That's not a Disney thing. That is a comic book thing, because I can tell you right now, in comic books in Marvel, the only two people that have ever stayed dead are Gwen Stacy and Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben, poor Uncle Ben, dude. He dies in every reality. God.
And Gwen Stacy doesn't even necessarily stay dead, because in the comic books, there's alternate versions of her that come back and blah, blah, blah. But
yeah,
Uncle Ben...
come back in
Uncle Ben, he's gone.
Didn't Gwen Stacy come back and into the Spider-Verse?
Well, so Into the Spider-Verse, it was an alternate reality. Gwen
She
Stacy.
still came back.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
not dead.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like in comics, because reality is so, not real.
Yeah.
They just keep changing the rules. Like, I can't
kinda
think of
hate
any
that.
specific
That's
ones. But I know
something-
in the past they've killed off characters. I think it was like the Joker back in like maybe the 70s, I think, or 60s. They killed off the Joker in one of the comic book lines. And there was such a big backlash. They're like, just kidding, he's not dead.
That's something I loved and hated about Logan.
Yeah.
Logan,
they
the fact-
officially killed off
Wait, what?
Wolverine in that.
Wolverine is through and through such a
You
cool
just
character.
ruined the
Everything
movie
about
for me. I'd never seen it.
Serena, you're like
what?
4
Yeah,
years
it's like
late.
10 years old. Don't even.
Okay, but I still
You-
wanted to see it.
It's too
I
bad.
love
You're
it.
You've
past
had
the point
almost
of
5
spoilers.
years. Wait, I'm looking this up when it came out.
I don't feel sorry for you whatsoever.
Oh, why?
You're-
I couldn't afford to go to the movies, and now I can't afford to rent movies. It's the same problem.
Serena, it's literally been over 4 years. March 3rd, 2017.
You've had
but
a
is
window.
it on anything that I can watch it on?
I know you can afford the $2 or $3 to rent it.
I don't care the $2 or
Absolutely.
$3 to watch every movie that I've ever missed.
Then don't fucking get angry at us when we spoil it. What? Just give us a list right now of big movies we can't spoil for you. What else haven't you seen?
Oh God, can you
Yeah,
name some
exactly.
movies and I'll say yes or no?
Hey,
See,
spoiler
that's
alert.
the thing.
Fast and Furious 7, they're Fast and Furious.
They're
Fucking-
fast.
are
They're
you
they're
kidding
even
me?
more fast.
I was
and
waiting.
More
Actually, I
furious.
think I saw the Fast and Furious 7 before I saw any of the rest of them. So I
I
don't think I've
think
seen
I-
the first one.
I think Fast and Furious is the most anime-like movies in the fact that the bad guys always join the team afterwards.
Yep.
Like that's
No,
such an
we were
anime
talking about
thing.
that when we were in Boston.
Yeah,
In the first movie, Paul Walker, his character was
Walker's the
out
bad
to
guy.
get Vin Diesel. And
Yeah.
2 movies there, he's like, we're friends now. We're brothers.
We're brothers for life.
And then
family.
what was it called? Dwayne Johnson in the 5th one, he's
Yeah.
out to send them all to prison. And then
Yeah.
the next movie, he's like, we're family now.
Jason Statham. All
Yep.
of them.
Yeah, Jason Statham, who has played his younger brother in the 8th movie, they're like, we all work together now. We're friends.
Yeah.
Even though
No,
you
they're-
killed all of my friends.
That's like an anime thing where they have like a season or a story arc just so that you can really tell how tough this new crew member is going to be and how you shouldn't mess with him because he has this deep
It's like they're trying to
backstory.
take the Zuko story arc, like the redemption arc,
Pretty much.
and just made it shittier. Like,
No.
look, it's the enemy, but he's our
You
friend
can't
now.
talk about Avatar is one of the few animes that can you call Avatar an anime?
It's anime inspired.
Okay, that's
say.
close enough. I'll say it's one of the few ones that break away from the main storyline to where they don't recruit every bad guy.
Yeah.
Like even the Zuko arc, that takes the entirety of the show to flip around on you and have him
Yeah.
be a good guy.
And it's only in like the second half of the 3rd season where he's like, I'm good now.
Pretty much. So it's like this stretched over thing, and you get enough time to hate him as a character and then love him as a character.
Yeah. Oh my
Eh,
god. That show, all in all, is probably like the one show I could say is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I never watched it growing up, and the first time I watched it, I was maybe 19 or 20 years old, and I was like, yeah, I could. This is great, even though it's made for little kids. I can
Yeah.
appreciate
It's
it.
Well,
So
there's so
holds
much
up.
going on in terms of character development and how they handle like political issues, disabilities, and stuff that as a kid you don't really notice. Because like
Yeah.
Toph, one of the main characters, is blind, and they don't just like, oh, she's blind, she's helpless. No,
She's
she's
great.
a fucking badass.
Yeah.
They
she's
should
a
just
badass
call the show
ass.
Tough.
Yeah.
That
And like in the
fucking-
first season, they literally address the patriarchy.
she's the Wolverine of that series. Like she's just cool through and through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. And then in Legend of Korra, I don't know if you've seen that. There's mixed
I didn't like it
reviews
as
on it.
much.
Like I
don't
thought it
like
was
it
decent.
much.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna hate on it because it's a very different show.
Yeah.
But I like that, unlike the first one, or Avatar, The Last Airbender, The Legend of Korra, it really took a lot of deeper issues like
Yeah.
depression and mental health and focused on that more so than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing about it is I just didn't like the era in which it took place.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
weird
yeah,
that they
steampunk.
went from literally like living in caves to like, oh look, skyscrapers.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Well, no,
either.
That happened in real life. Think of the 1880s versus the 1950s.
Yeah, in the 1880s, they were living in
I'm
caves.
trying to think, what was the time gap between the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender and
Avatar,
the beginning?
Aang was like 100 years old by the end of it. Like, he was an old man before he died.
No, he
Was he
died.
not?
He died pretty young. Yeah.
Wasn't Toph old too? Because she was the police chief.
Yeah, but
Toph was
Sakura was
old
in
in
her
the thing.
mid-20s, right? That means
No.
how old was she?
At the beginning,
She
she was like
was
17.
like 13. Oh, I don't know.
13.
Oh, Korra? No, I thought you were talking
Okay.
about.
Was she 18?
I think she was 17. I want to say she was 17.
Give or
at the
take 20
beginning.
years from the beginning of Legend of Korra. So that means Aang would have died 20 years prior to that, give
Yeah.
or take.
I think he died when he was
Let's-
like around 40.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's
40 or
say
50?
let's say 30 years passed between that. That's the difference between 1900 and 1930. Back when there were no cars versus when New York City was building up as an actual city and airplanes were starting to become a thing. This is past World War I at this point. So you go from
Yeah, fair.
30 years, it was pretty accurate to real life, where you go from everyone having horses and carriages to 30 years later, everyone driving
Wait,
like Model
But
Ts.
it could have been
Dude,
like
dude.
earlier. Like it didn't have to be. They didn't have to start at 1900. Like Aang could have been like that.
No, but
first
they pretty
stroke
much
could have been
did
like in the
because
1700s.
No, well, the end of Avatar, they had blimp technology, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but
So-
that's because he invented it. That could have been
That's.
anything.
I think it was pretty accurate timeline wise. What I don't like is the fact that when you jumped those 30 or 40 years and you got to the point where you had cars and all this technology, it kind of neutralized the cool aspect of the Avatar world to
Yeah.
where there's these people
Yeah.
with like these wizarding powers, because it's a thing now of it's compared to the tech of that era, it's just okay. It made everything
Yeah.
so mediocre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it definitely would have been better as a show if they kept it more simplistic.
I think
Yeah.
that's why everyone likes Attack on Titan, because it was this thing of you
Yeah.
have this cool power in an era where there's no technology or very minimal
no.
technology.
I don't want to give spoilers. Okay, so now
I haven't watched the entirety of the last season.
You have?
I haven't.
Oh, okay. Never. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not
Okay,
gonna say
don't. I know about
Because
the
I
City
respect not
Beyond and
spoiling
all that.
anything for you, Sharif.
Yeah. I appreciate that. See, that's the thing, Serena. When we have a podcast together, you only spoil things for other
Okay.
people.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hey, but Sharif, speaking about like industrialization and engineering feats and accomplishments, I was watching this video. This is the nerd coming out in me. It was a video on the engineering and design.
Wait,
behind...
the nerds coming out of you after that Marvel talk?
Yeah,
That's crazy, dude.
But it
It's
was the
like coming out
engineering and
now?
design behind the X-15, which was the first plane to maintain a hypersonic speed and break into space as an airplane, not a rocket ship, a plane to go into space. It was
So
the
not a
first one.
vertical liftoff.
Nope.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I was just some really interesting things about it. Do you know how much fuel that thing had in it?
A gallon.
I'm gonna say 1,000 gallons.
A gallon.
8,000 kilograms of fuel.
You
And-
gotta speak
Yeah.
English.
What the fuck was that?
Wait, you gotta.
I don't know the exact how many gallons that is.
You're telling
because
us in
I
weight
don't know.
instead
I don't
of
know
displacements.
because it had a mixture of different fuels. So the
Okay, but
density is
what's-
going to be different for each
But
one.
the
So
displacement of it.
I don't know
Yeah.
exactly because the density is different for each part.
But
Okay.
they're still.
But
Go
here's
on-
the
go
thing.
on
Here's the
then.
thing. 8,000 kilograms of fuel.
Whoa,
that's a lot of fuel. Right?
crazy.
No, shut up. Do you know how fast it burned through that?
No, 20 minutes.
85 seconds.
85
Wow.
seconds.
85
that's pretty much-
seconds.
I could do
That's
that.
pretty much like the experiment when you're a kid, when you blow up a rocket with air and you just like go. Poof. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, is that flight at that point? Is it considered flight if your landing doesn't require any fuel?
Yeah, you're still flying.
Is it flying
You're
if
flying.
you jump off a couch and you land on the ground? Were you flying?
No.
If you're not okay, I know our listeners don't care about this, but flying it's when there's lift.
Okay, so if I jump off the ground and land back on the ground, that was lift.
She's
No,
got a
there's
point.
no lift. There's no lift raising you back up.
What if
That's
she
the
flaps
point
her
of an
arms really
airfoil.
So if
hard?
I
Is
get in
it
an
generates
elevator
lift.
and is lifting me, is that flying?
Yeah.
Oh my! I hate Serena.
What if she flaps her arms really, really hard?
did
like a
you
cartoon?
not? Did you not take fluid dynamics with me? Yes, you did. Shut up.
I don't fucking remember.
I'm the only person
But
who
this brought up a question when I was watching it, because it was the first plane to get into space, right?
Okay.
They knew
Are we already in
at the time
space?
they added control surfaces that could maneuver the plane through space, because you can't use wings in normal control surfaces because there's no air.
Mm-hmm.
But if they didn't do that and they just sent the first guy up there and he gets into space, he's like, what do I do now? As he just slowly drifts away into nothing.
Oh, that was so sad.
So satellites technically aren't flying.
No, they're floating.
Why would you think they're flying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They have to flap their wings to fly. Come on, he just explained that.
Fuck up.
But, dude, you know what's even crazier though? You know the average speed it maintained? Mach 6.5.
Whoa! You gotta speak in terms I understand. Give me miles per
Yeah.
hour.
6.5.
You gotta
6.5
Stop
times the
using
speed
these
of sound.
convoluted units.
All right, hang on. Mach 6.5 is 5,000 miles per hour.
God.
Yeah, the
That's
SR
100 miles per hour, so.
the SR-71 with the Blackbird,
Yeah.
that only reached a top speed of Mach 3.4, so about 2,500 miles per hour.
Oof. So you're saying it could have jumped continents in an hour if it had enough fuel.
If it had enough fuel, yes.
Wow.
That's cool.
I mean, man, it really gives you kind of an aspect of how small and big the world is at the same time.
And dude, this was I believe this was right after the Cold War, when airplanes were still a fairly new technology. And the amount of progress that was made from World War I until then is insane.
Yeah. Nah, I don't think anyone could disagree with that statement.
Yeah. And
I mean,
they obviously didn't have any actual applications for it. It was solely used to gather data to actually create space shuttles to send people into space.
Yeah. What was that statistic? It took humanity 50 years from not understanding the concept of how to fly to being on the moon.
Yep.
Yeah. Isn't that
50
wild?
years from 50.
And this was the plane that collected most of the data to get us to the moon.
I totally understand now why old people were psyched about watching the moon landing, because in their childhood, when they were like 10 or so, they were probably first learning about the fact that people are flying. They're like, people can get off the ground for like a maintained amount of time, and then like in their older age, they watched like people escape gravity, which is such a crazy concept.
Dude. And like, what do you think would happen if you went back in time to 1900? And you just saw a person on the street and you point up to the moon, you'd be like, someone's going to step on that in like 50 years.
Someone's going to step on that. And it's going to be you, John Glenn. Oh. God. No.
Do you think that technology is slowing down, like the increase or what is it, the expanding of technology? Is it slowing down or expanding in a different direction?
I was gonna say, I think it's changing in ways we can't predict.
Yeah.
Because
I'd say it's always going to be expanding and growing at such a fast rate, but to us, the way we see it, it's probably going to be slow and not ways that we can predict.
Well, no, it's going to be things we can't predict for sure, because in the 80s, when tech was starting to pick up, people thought we were going to be able to ride the increase in hardware for years to come, and they thought tech in a hardware aspect was going to get crazier and crazier. Mm-hmm. But we still use the same computer mouse you would use in the 80s.
I mean, it's
but
all software at this point.
Yeah, what they didn't expect is the boom in our storage technology.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I was going to bring up, because like for the moon landing, how big and how much memory was used in that versus how big do we have the 1 terabyte like SD cards now? It's like the size of your fingernail.
It's not even SD cards. It's like CT cards is what we moved to now, which can be up to like 8 terabytes, which is just a different format of SD card.
Yeah.
But I think the entire computer system for the original moon landing shuttle was 6 megabytes, which is like an audio file nowadays.
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure our audio file for this recording is bigger than that.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely, for sure. It's funny how recent that change in like the ability for us to store information was. Like It's crazy to think that the entirety of Legend of Zelda on N64 can fit in an audio recording nowadays. Like the whole file is like 6 megabytes or something. Yeah. But it's this game as a kid that I played for hours and hours. Yeah. And it was a whole 3D world of structure and story all built into like 6 megabytes.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And then can we just talk about like for the 8.5 megabytes or whatever it was to get the moon landing? Yeah. That took up an entire room.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was all it's
weird though, because like talking about that change, and then you get to like battery technology, which has been stagnant now for I don't know how many years.
Yeah, they're trying to change it, but that's something that, man, once we had batteries,
memory storage will get better and better, I think, but energy storage is probably going to be stagnant for a long time.
I think, what were the old batteries? Were they nickel zinc?
I think so, yeah.
Nickel. I think the jump from nickel zinc to lithium ion took like 80 years. Yeah, like we're running nickel zinc technology since like the Model T car batteries.
Yeah, and I think there's like new battery technology that's coming out, but the thing is, it's so expensive and hard to make. It's not practical.
And that's the thing. Lithium ion, when they found that solution, it was cheap enough that they could mass manufacture it.
Yeah.
And that's like
I still remember as a kid seeing commercials for new batteries. He's like, look, we have these new lithium ion batteries. I'm like, ooh, what's that?
What's that? They're always fake too. It was like, it's the same thing of like people, what they do with 5G now. It's like, we have 5G asterisk. And it's like, what's that asterisk you got going on there?
It's like in the fine print it says asterisk, not actually 5G.
Not actually 5G. You guys know what the difference between 4G and 5G is, right?
Really.
1G. About 9.8 meters per second.
I'll fucking kill you. No, I don't know the exact measurement, but it's just literally the difference isn't like some new crazy tech. It's just a differentiation in the speed of the internet. That's it. So like 4G classification to 5G classification is you just breaking this barrier in internet speeds. Yeah. So it's not new technology whatsoever. It's just better built on tech to what the existing tech already is. So I think that makes sense. The difference between upload speeds of like 10 megabits per second to 100 megabits per second is a difference between 2G and 3G classification. But there's literally no change in what technology you're using between 4 and 5G, which is weird because you have all these like US companies that can't catch up with China that are classifying 5G as something that's not 5G just because they titled it as such. I don't know. It's weird. Hey, I mixed up my chicken broth with my milk the other day. That was weird.
Did you put it in your cereal?
Yes.
I just want to put it. That was such a clean segue. Absolutely not abrupt whatsoever. Completely natural.
I realized I was starting to sound a little smart, so I had to really, really bring it down a little. I don't know why they make the cartons for almond milk and chicken broth the exact same size, dimension, and color. And I don't know why I store them in the same place in the fridge.
God.
Yeah, but I accidentally poured chicken broth in my cereal, and I was like,
yummy.
Well, now I got to commit.
Wait.
So
yummy.
I had a spoonful, and I went, it's not bad, but it's not for me.
Oh, God.
What
it was just cold chicken broth?
Huh?
It was just cold chicken broth?
Cold chicken broth with honey bunch of oats.
Okay, not as bad as it could be. Because imagine if it was something like Cocoa
honestly,
Pebbles,
that's probably more sane
or something.
That's probably more sane than people that put water in their cereal.
I agree with that. There's at least some flavor. It was
not
very
a good flavor, but flavor.
It was a very neutral taste.
Yeah,
like it wasn't disgusting in either way. Like it was gross, but it wasn't like it was like I wouldn't.
Yeah, but
why
would
I
you do
do
it again?
this?
But would you do it again?
If someone was like, I dare you to do it for I would do it. It's not that bad. Yeah, if someone's
you just
like
wouldn't go out of your way
$20
to do
or
it.
you won't do this. Like, you know, in middle school when like that you had that one friend that would dump everything into his milk carton and it'd be like $5 whoever can drink this, and there was always like that one kid who was desperate for attention. It was like, oh, I'll do it. Like I would do that with the chicken broth and cereal mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that bad.
Because you're desperate for attention, right?
Only for that one cereal, yes. Okay. But also in every other scenario as well.
I think you should start...
yes, the answer is yes.
I think you should start this segue over again and just start it with you advertising for chicken stock or chicken broth instead of milk.
No, but I'm assuming the chicken stock you used was Swanson brand?
God, no.
Okay, good. I was going to say, because do not advertise that.
I'm going to go check what brand it is.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
What? Why does it have to be a certain brand? Just people?
So wait,
Try
so
it. Try this
you know
at home.
Swanson brand like food, right?
Yeah.
You know who owns that company?
Ron Swanson?
Tucker Carlson's family.
Are you for real?
Yep.
It's 365, which is Whole Food brand.
Okay, I can respect that. Yep.
I
Yeah,
probably
now you're
paid
just
way
giving
too
money
much
to-
for it.
None of that money goes to Tucker
Amazon's-
Carlson.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that
it's
does go
going
to
to
Amazon,
Jeff
doesn't it?
Bezos.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's fine. He's just
okay.
yeah.
But,
You know what?
hey,
So
Fuck
drop
chicken
in
broth.
the
I'm gonna make
bucket.
my own.
hey, you wanna know something really interesting, but kind of a little gross? A lot of gross.
Yes.
So just a forewarning to our listeners. I'm about to talk about goat castration.
That's fun. Wait,
I learned
make a
I learned this
hypothesis?
Yeah, go.
Yeah,
What
go
is
for
it?
it.
Is it because people keep fucking goats?
No.
Okay.
Hold on, let me take a guess. Is it because the world has an overpopulation of goat problems?
No.
Oh,
Is it
dang, I
because
thought I
it's
had
fun
it.
So-
to do?
Maybe. I don't know why they do this specifically to goats. Probably for like breeding
So
reasons.
you don't know
but-
that we weren't
no.
right.
But no, what I'm about to talk about is the method that I learned today.
What is
So
the
I was
method?
eating brunch with some of the guys from my gym,
I love that this is where this starts.
and we were just
Me
sitting
and
down
these
waiting
small
for
gym bros went to this bed and breakfast and had brunch.
so we're just sitting there waiting for our food, and the guy next to me just turns and he's like, "Hey, do you know about this?" And I'm like, "Oh God." And then he pulled up a video to show me because Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, it was on this episode.
That makes so
Yeah.
much sense.
And so these farmers, they were talking about like the technically legal way that they're supposed to castrate goats, and then the method that they found works best, but they can't do because it's illegal. Because the legal
Right.
way is horrible.
The legal way
What
is
It is a
horrible?
very
Legal.
long process. I didn't watch the full video because I wanted to eat my food, but essentially they tie it off so it cuts off the circulation, and it's a very long process to actually cut it off. And when they're done, the goat is in a lot of pain and it just sits there and is just like depressed for like hours
Aw.
and hours. But the method that the farmers found that works very fast, effectively, and the goat like doesn't feel anything because it just goes right back to playing. They bite it off.
What?
The farmers?
Yes.
With their mouth?
Yes.
What?
What?
Yeah.
No, I agree with the government. I don't care about that goat's pain. You do things the right way. You can, you know what?
So-
Life's painful, goats. You take a little bit of that pain, and you just be glad that a farmer hasn't bit off your. Oh my
Holy
god!
shit. So I was right. It is because it's fun to do.
Yo,
Yeah,
these,
exactly.
these farmers got guts, man. Who was the first farmer that did that? Who was the farmer that saw this happening and he went, "I think I know a better way." he's just like, "Hear me out, boys." And they went, "You're crazy, Mike, but I like your gusto. You got spirit, Mike."
The fact that they didn't just like make a tool to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Like make some fucking dentures. I don't get it. What the fuck?
I was watching a video the other day of a dude who trims cow hoofs for a living, and they have a whole machine for that.
Yeah.
That like the cow goes into it, a door closes behind them. It's a hydraulic lift that lifts the cow off the ground, and they have a little pedestal that you pull the cow's foot up on. Like it's a whole system. They should definitely have like a thing that you just like shove a goat into, and it comes out castrated. Like that should be a machine.
I love automation.
I'm sure that already is a machine. But dude, speaking of hooves, have you ever seen...
The machine is just Mike in there biting testicles off.
That's what he's been up to ever since the show stopped.
It's just Mike. They have Mike in there, and that's it.
All right, Sharif. Episode 99, the 100th episode. Mike Rowe.
Mike, oh god, what's he up to nowadays? Do you think he's
He's
chosen
castrating
his-
goats. He's
Do you
castrating
think
goats
he's
now.
chosen his favorite dirty job, and that's just what he does for a living
No,
now?
he voices over like I want to say like Dodge commercials or something.
That's funny. I didn't see that one coming.
That's not
Yeah,
gonna
he
step
voices
down.
over some kind of I think because I recognize the voice. I want to say it's him.
Were
But,
you the one who didn't know Joe Rogan does MMA?
Yeah, that was me. I did not realize he did MMA.
That's what he got famous for, and then he did Fear Factor, and then he had his podcast.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I
his
only knew him
original
from
thing
Fear Factor
was-
and his podcast.
No, his original thing was like commentating kickboxing.
Yeah. Or no,
That's
so
crazy.
I knew he commentated kickboxing. I didn't know he was a fighter himself.
Oh yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, it's kind of like Childish Gambino. Like everyone has a different way they know who he is.
Yeah,
Like I
it's
know him
true.
as the YouTuber, but
Yeah.
like
Really?
a lot of
People
people
know him
know him
from-
as a singer.
Or like as Troy from Community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like the movie. People either know him as a YouTuber, the actor, or the singer, or like. But like,
Dude, it's the
know,
same thing
whoever
with
you
like
ask.
Joji. Like you either know him as Filthy Frank, Pink Guy, or Joji.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently
Yeah.
he hates being referred to as Filthy Frank now. Like he wanted to leave that behind. Yeah, I'm sad.
That's kind of sad.
I'm sad.
I never even as a middle schooler, I was like, this isn't for me. This is a little immature. But at the same time, I don't like that's kind of bummy that he like is disregarding this whole community and his past just because he had like a mood swing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, his music's good, so I'm not gonna complain.
It's pretty good, but at the same time, that seems a little disingenuous.
Yeah.
That you
But
had this.
people change.
I mean, he's not disregarding it. He just doesn't like to be referred to as that. Like he's not ignoring, like, oh yeah, I did make those videos.
I stand by my mistakes. I'll always be baby murder guy.
I was about to bring that up. There you go.
You'll never change that part of me. I'll have kids myself, and I'd be like, "You'll grow up to be just like me."
Stupid?
In a sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if I would trust you to raise kids.
That's
Like I know you raised your siblings very well.
Yeah, I'm
But
not sure if I
you as-
raised
you-
them well. I
You
got
raised them to
them
be mature. You raised them to be mature.
I got them through childhood. We can say that much. Maybe I kicked them a little hard through that process, but
The thing is,
you
like,
know,
isn't it?
they left
Isn't it
it.
like it just slowly like decreased through the generations. Your grandpa beat your dad or something with, like, with the hose, and then he throws like
Yeah.
bricks at you, and like, what are you gonna do
no,
to your kids?
yeah, I'm gonna give them a good TikTok talking. That's what their punishment's gonna be. No, it was this thing of like older generations all had anger issues, and it was like the norm. Like my grandpa would what do you call it? My grandpa, his dad, when he was angry at him, he would beat him with a brick, and that was like
That
their
was it, yeah.
Yeah, that was like their child like raising thing. And my dad, when he was older, or when he was a kid, my grandpa they did construction for a living. My grandpa had this dried up hose full of cement, and he would hit my dad with that. And growing up, my dad was like the classic parent, the classic brown parent. He used whatever was around the house, like a sandal or some sort of utensil or something. So it was always so I'll probably be like, no TikTok for you, go to your room. Like, I don't know, it's been
And
a
that's
gradual
just, like,
decrease.
Most like white people punishing their kids now.
Yeah.
Give me
no.
your phone for 10 minutes. Go to your room and think about what you did.
I'll probably just leave them in the woods, and I'll be like, I'll pick you up at sunset.
No, at sunrise
I'll pick you up at sunrise. See you then.
next week.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Depending on how bad the thing they did is, the more time they spend in the wilderness.
Right.
And it's not like they can just walk out and find their way out. You fenced it in. You fenced it in.
Yeah, pretty much. I found out. I'm sure everyone in the world knows about this, but I absolutely didn't. I found out, like, I knew that women were born with X amount of eggs in them, and that's all they get for life.
Yeah.
I didn't know that develops in the embryo, like as you're being made as a baby.
Yeah.
So from the time you're an embryo, you have X amount of eggs in you, and that's all you get.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You tell me babies got all their reproductive gear just hanging out in them
No,
somewhere?
they don't.
Where does that go for
they have all
boys,
the
though?
eggs.
They have
Huh?
eggs, and they don't have everything because everything else develops through as they
Right.
mature.
But they have the eggs. Like, the main thing, like, you could probably take a baby infant and take an egg
Sharif,
out
I think
of it.
you're going down a path that we should not talk about now.
You're right, Chris. I can feel Chris Hansen around the block. He's running full tilt at me right now. Yeah, I see where you're going with this. But, like, guys, it's different. Guys, it replenishes throughout their life.
Yeah.
But girls, it's all there. That's crazy from day one.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you took
Okay.
a biology class after, freshman year of high school, like 12
I
years ago,
didn't.
you probably
I
would have known
didn't.
that.
Yeah,
my
I did
last
not
biology
either.
class was like 10 years ago at this point.
God.
No, it probably was 11 or 12.
My last one was like a few months ago.
Everything below the skin, like We should have a thing where I draw an anatomy chart and see where I put
my
things.
God. Wait, can we do that? I want to see that.
Should we do that for our first video podcast?
Yes.
When I come over, you print out a giant like outline of a human, and I'll put bones and skin and stuff where it's supposed to be.
Where are you gonna put the skin, Sharif?
I feel like some of it's on the inside. Is there not like inside skin? I don't know.
The belly button.
The belly button. There's
The
inside
ear,
skin
your
somewhere. Ear. See, there's definitely inside skin. You're the one who's wrong now, Josh.
Yeah, Josh,
Is
you're
that would that still
stupid.
be considered skin? At what point does it go from being considered skin to just tissue? Skin is a type of tissue.
That's
Now
your
you're
You're
job,
the last
man.
person.
That's
You're the
not our
last
job
person
to
I need
figure
to be
out.
having this conversation with because you know nothing
Yeah.
about biology.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my notes right now for.
You
different
need to
podcast
like go to a
topics.
butthole specialist or something, and he'll tell you. Like I feel like that's where you make the distinction, somewhere around the butthole. It's gotta be.
I'm looking through my podcast notes for like different topics. I just remembered last week when I was driving on the freeway, I looked over to me, like I turned on my turn signal so I could merge over into the next lane. I look over, I don't see a car. I look down, there's just a wheel rolling next to me.
What?
Yo, it was on that wheel was on its way to Final Destination. Someone you just witnessed a murder, sir.
No, it's Chef Boyardee, but with cars.
There was a commercial like that growing up. It was
Yeah,
like a
that's what I'm
Goodyear
saying.
commercial.
What?
It was like a tire rolling through the deck. You remember it, Josh?
I remember that, and then like
I don't
attaches
remember
itself
that.
to the car at the end, and
Yeah, it was this tire that was
was
Chef
it Goodyear or was
Boyardee
it,
its
like,
way.
the Michelin
was-
Man.
It was one of them, but it was a
That's
tire that was
funny.
just Chef Boyardee its way around the country.
Can we make that a verb, Chef Boyardeeing?
Chef Boyardee. That'd be really hard concept to do for like I don't know imagine someone at the Cube factory market at like pitching this to marketing, be like we'll have our Cube Chef Boyardee its way through, and it's like what are you talking about?
I'm
The
just
Cube?
imagining like just another term for like traveling. Like, oh, you want to go on a vacation? Let's Chef Boyardee over to the West Coast.
You think one of the people on To Catch a Predator was like I was just Chef Boyardee my way through here.
Oh my god.
This kid saw me at the grocery store, and I knew I had to follow him
Oh
home.
no. Oh no.
God.
Hey, you wanna call it there?
Yeah, let's end it right there. Let's stop before Chris Hansen actually comes for
For
you.
Chris Hansen, I think there's someone at my door. Anything you want to say, Serena?
Fuck pigs. Fuck 12.
Yeah.
Follow me for art content on Instagram.
Follow her
and
art
TikTok.
content. Your art's good. I was gonna hang
Or
up
follow
your
her for
poster.
not art content.
Yeah,
What?
castrate goats.
Okay, wait, I didn't give my handle. It's Serena the Maker.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna link it in the description.
Oh, okay.
We're definitely gonna link it, but at the same time, I forgot we never talked about that at all. Your art's really good. I
Yeah.
bought some of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I still have all your stickers on my water bottle.
It's on
Aw.
my tablet.
Aw.
I
That's so sweet.
especially love the dead bird one. That's my favorite.
It's my favorite too. I have to finish it. There's supposed to be one more, and it's gonna be a raccoon. Yeah.
Yeah, go on Serena's Instagram and buy all her art. It's all good.
Thank
Follow her on
you.
Instagram. I love her
Thank
art.
you.
I genuinely I have your
That's-
shut up. I have your day and night poster, and I was like now that I'm in my own place, I'm gonna frame it and I'm gonna put it up. Like
Aw.
I don't know. I really I like your art. Well,
Oh,
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
And,
coming.
joining.
and if
Thanks for being
listeners
our
don't
friend.
know, Sharif is also an amazing artist. So
No, he's not.
I
He's not.
yeah, he is.
haven't heard that term in a long time.
Sharif, you tried to draw me and you colored my lips blue because you thought they were red.
I never said I was good at portraits. I'm good at other things.
He's good at, if he has one shade to work with, he will work that shade.
Yeah.
I want to see you do that thing where you turn on like a red light and then try to draw something in multiple
Yeah.
colors.
That
How
would
about
look
we'll
really
have-
good. I think it would come out really well.
How about we'll have a series of games Sharif plays when we do our video podcast?
Deal.
We'll have painting hour Sharif. Sharif tries anatomy. Josh learns culture or something like that. Like we'll give you like one random
Josh
culture.
joins Islam.
Josh joins the Brotherhood of Islam. All right, well, thanks for joining us, Serena. This was fun. Okay.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Serena, do you want to cue the outro?
Wait, first of all, this is the Mutually Assured Destruction podcast. I'm Sharif. With me is Josh.
I'm Josh.
And Serena.
And I'm cueing the outro.
Cue the outro. Wow, she did. Wow, that was good. Cue that outro. You did.